Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty exciting, actually. It's this intersection, this convergence of blockchain and artificial intelligence. Specifically, we're looking at the Pi Network's App Studio and how it might just reshape, well, the whole decentralized creative economy. Our analysis today comes from a recent YouTube source, quite strategic, looking at a big announcement from Pi Day 2025. They paint a very optimistic picture, maybe even radical. Okay, let's unpack this. So, the source we're looking at, it calls the launch of the Pi App Studio, especially with its generative AI integration, not just, a product release, but a civilizational declaration. That's quite a statement, isn't it?
It is a big statement. What's fascinating here is that declaration, as they put it, really points to a fundamental shift. We're talking a complete reimagining of how digital stuff gets made and how value moves around in a decentralized society. The core promise, you see, is merging blockchain's trust layer with AI's creative power. And the aim isn't just to help developers, the usual suspects. It's about empowering ordinary individuals, people with real-world know-how, life experience, letting them become builders of actual economic and social value. The source sees this as a huge step toward, democratizing tech, getting us closer to workable Web3 models, where value isn't just funneled to a few big platforms, right? It's more spread out, user-owned.
That's the big picture, the vision. But okay, how does the Pi App Studio make this real for someone like, well, you or me? What's the actual mechanism that makes creating an app suddenly easier?
Right, the practical side. The key thing is enabling creation using natural language. So instead of needing Python or JavaScript or whatever, you can essentially tell the AI what you want. It leverages generative AI, the kind that can write text, code, create images to do the heavy lifting.
So you could just describe an app idea?
Pretty much. You could build, say, chatbots or tools that give recommendations, interactive quizzes, specialized calculators, maybe even simple news websites, all without writing traditional code.
That sounds, yeah, incredibly powerful for individuals. But does it scale up? What about bigger things?
Oh, absolutely. The source points out that the Pi network is also set up to foster open-source infrastructure apps. Think about crucial areas like health, education, local shopping, even administrative services for communities. And here's where it gets interesting. There is a feedback loop. The AI learns from the successful apps people build, which in turn helps other users create even better new applications down the line. It sort of bootstraps itself.
And the Pi community itself, that huge user base, over 60 million you mentioned, that must act like a massive built-in testing ground, instant feedback. Here's where it gets really interesting. How do you ensure that scale translates to real engagement, not just numbers?
Yes, the engagement and incentive question. This raises an important point the source focused on. The Pi core team made a very specific strategic call about rewards. They decided against building automatic rewards directly into the protocol. The typical staking model where you lock up coins.
Why avoid that? It's pretty common.
To maintain fairness and neutrality, apparently.
Yeah.
They didn't want the core system favoring certain apps or behaviors automatically. So it decentralizes the incentive model too. It puts the responsibility squarely on the app developers, meaning developers need to design their own reward systems within their apps. Things like offering premium features, maybe an ad-free version, unique NFTs, or exclusive content for users who contribute or engage.
Okay, so value attracts value.
Exactly. It effectively turns staking or locking up capital into something more like community-driven trust. Apps that provide genuine, tangible value to the users are the ones that should succeed and gain traction. And those that are maybe less innovative or don't really serve a need, well, they'll likely just fade away. It's sort of a market driven by utility.
Right, that makes sense. So connecting this back to the real world, what does this all mean? Let's break down the impact for individuals.
For individuals, it's potentially transformative. The idea is you can monetize your specific knowledge, your expertise, your passion,
Right.
without needing to be a tech expert.
Right.
You build your app using the AI tools, you connect it to Pi payments for transactions or subscriptions, and you can even tap into the Pi ad network for revenue if that fits your model. The source makes a direct comparison, saying it's similar to how monetization works on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok.
So turn your hobby or skill into an income stream, basically.
That seems to be the promise, yeah. Your local knowledge, your unique skill set becoming a digital product.
Okay, and what about businesses? Is there an angle for them?
Definitely. For businesses, the source highlights two main things: cost and speed. The App Studio could dramatically lower the cost of developing and testing new digital products or services, and it lets them float ideas, test concepts on this huge global community really quickly, getting feedback almost instantly. Less risk, faster iteration.
And governments. You mentioned developing countries earlier.
Yes, particularly for governments, maybe local governments, especially in developing regions. It's presented as a potential path to what the source calls digital self-sufficiency, enabling communities to build their own localized apps for essential services. Things like health monitoring, local transport coordination, educational tools, administrative functions, tailored precisely to their context, built by them.
And supporting all this activity, there's the broader Pi ecosystem, right? The tools.
Correct. You've got the Pi wallet integrated for handling payments, royalties for creators, Pi domains for giving apps a unique identity, like a web address, but decentralized, and, as we mentioned, the Pi ad network for monetization options. It's designed to be a fairly complete toolkit.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, zooming out again, what's the endgame vision here according to the source?
The forward view is really about fostering a new kind of Web3 app economy, one where communities, not just large corporations or lone developers, are the primary builders. In this model, the roles are sort of redistributed. AI handles the technical grunt work, the coding side. The blockchain provides the rails for fair value distribution and transparency. And humans. We drive the creativity, the ideas, identifying the needs and opportunities based on our lived experience.
So wrapping up the core message from our source, they're positioning the Pi App Studio as a genuine catalyst for this Web3 shift. More than just a simple no-code tool, but a gateway to a different kind of creative economy, one based on knowledge and community collaboration.
That's the essence. AI empowers participation, blockchain ensures fairness, and the Pi community itself provides the trust, the testing ground, and the ongoing development momentum. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the source suggests a future where digital value isn't just consumed by everyone, but it's genuinely created by everyone, and potentially for everyone.
Something to think about, definitely. If building digital tools and value becomes that accessible, almost like writing an email, how could that change your relationship with technology? How might you participate in creating digital value in the future? Worth pondering as you go about your day.